Look, I don't know what Jalen Brunson did to return late in Game 4 after spraining his ankle, but what I do know is that it rhymes with horse tranquil at wait. Hey guys, Jalen Brunson lost something last night at the end of Game 6 and would really mean a lot if you could help him find it, okay? Oh, you might actually know who it is that he's looking for. His name's Asar Thompson. It was the weirdest thing, right? 1 second he's right next to Brunson, the next poof, gone. Weirdest thing. Aaron Gordon had an incredible putback slam right as the buzzer sounded to help the Nuggets steal Game 4 against the Clippers. So I guess you could kind of say that Gordon saved Jokic's legacy. Jamal Murray during the regular season is just your average everyday worker, just trying to put in an honest day's work and letting the chips fall where they may. Jamal Murray in the playoffs, however, looks a bit more like this. Ty Lue said he, quote, took a lot of temperatures on the Clippers off day to make sure they were mentally prepared for Game 6, which definitely explains why Ben Simmons was a DNP. I love how the Nuggets and Clippers are throwing absolute haymakers at each other like it's a Rocky fight as the series goes to 7 games. Tired bodies, blood everywhere, nobody knowing where you're going to need to pull out that fraction of energy that you're going to need to win this game. And then there's OKC on the other side of the bracket, just, sitting on the, porch, doing the crossword, drinking some green tea, just waiting on the message to find out who's next. The Warriors beat the Rockets to go up 3-1 on the same night the Cavs completed the most lopsided series victory in playoff history with a 55-point win over the Heat. So in other words, it was a great night for Jimmy Butler. And Draymond Green got a last-second stop on Alperen Sengun to clinch that Game 4 victory, which he was hyped about. Bit less so, though, when he realized that still wasn't enough for them to overturn the results for Defensive Player of the Year. The Warriors were then blown out by the Rockets in Game 5, setting themselves up to win the series in Game 6 with what could be one of the coolest moments in NBA history if Adam Silver would just play ball. Jaden McDaniels had a career playoff high 30 points in Minnesota's Game 3 win over the Lakers. You'd think KD would have warned LeBron, but nope. So the Lakers called a timeout at the end of Game 4, only for the Wolves to call a timeout to challenge the play, which resulted in the Wolves getting 2 free throws to go up 3, which still wound up costing the Lakers a timeout. A timeout they only called because they thought they had the ball? That can't be right. Rudy Gobert had a career high 27 points and 24 rebounds in Minnesota's clinching Game 5 victory over the Lakers. The key to what was probably the best playoff game of his career? Realizing he's bigger than everyone. Shaq's never been prouder. And for anyone who's nervous about whether Game 5 would be the last time we'd see a 40-year-old LeBron James in an NBA game, do you know anything about LeBron James? If you'd have asked me which former Blazers guard scored 37 points to help Milwaukee beat Indiana in Game 3, Gary Trent Jr. would not have been my answer. It was just one random injury to Chris Middleton, they said. Bucks will be back fully healthy next year, they said. And then they said that the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And if you're wondering which kind of team can blow a 7-point lead with under 40 seconds remaining in overtime, just remember who the Bucks head coach is. It'll all make sense. You know who's the happiest about the Cavs' 55-point win over Miami? It's not Cleveland for advancing in the second round. It's not even the Heat for the mercy killing. It's the team that no longer has the biggest ass whooping in the playoffs. After being swept by the Thunder, Ja Morant spoke to reporters saying, quote, "I feel like every injury I had this year was out of my control." Says the guy who has worse takeoff and landing mechanics than Spirit Airlines. Ja also said the Grizzlies would be tied 2-2 with OKC if he hadn't gotten hurt. Quote, "I had them figured out." Because you know what they say, it's once you lose to a team by 50 that you really just start to crack the code. Believe it or not, but Joe Mazzulla actually hated that Boston won Game 4 against Orlando. He felt like they'd gotten soft and felt like going home 2-2 would have been a much better challenge for them to overcome. Turns out he's actually talking to Adam Silver about getting the results changed. But then the Celtics did beat the Magic in Game 5 to advance the second round, where their playoffs will begin.